everyone. So today we're going to discuss unit about inequalities, and that will be the second part of inequality units. And we're going to talk about compound inequalities, absolute value, and inequalities and equations. In unit 2, we kind of started already. We talk about this before MCA practice, so you will be familiar with some of those things, and hopefully the lesson will go easier for you and you will do well, including the summative assessment. So let's go ahead and review some of the compound inequalities and what they mean by their form. So when we discuss compound inequalities, we're having two forms. First form, it's called AND form. And AND form is when the variable is in the middle and it's greater than the first number but less than the last number. So exactly in the middle. And when we talk about R form, then we have two different cases. We have X less greater than some number, or another case when X will be again later, greater or less than. Normally in one case X will be less, and the other case X will be greater than. So before we start with the forms and the practice examples, I just want to remind you that once you're done with the video lesson, your job will be to complete 6.4 worksheet as a day 1 for this unit. So AND form. If we need to graph x greater than -5, I can pick -5 to be somewhere here in the middle, and then because x is greater, this will be open circle to the right. So all values greater than -5 will be solution to my inequality. If I have second case when x is less or equals 0, then I'm gonna have closed circle, and because it's less or equal, we'll go to the left. So those are two different situations, but when we have those two combined, they form what it's called AND form. Okay, this is the AND form when variable x is between those two cases. So I'm gonna put -5 over here and 0 down here. At -5, we have open circle when x is greater, so we'll go in this direction, and then at 0 we're gonna have this case, which is closed circle, and the values for x will be less than. So what that mean? It means that all value for x between those two numbers are solution to the system. So the solutions will be only between those two numbers, -5 and 0. Not greater than, not less than, but between those two. With R form now, it's another case. So x is greater than 23. If 23 is here, we're going to have open circle that goes to this direction. Then we have x less than 19, another open circle that goes in the opposite direction. So what happened when we graph those two together at the same graph line? So 19 will be here, 23 will be here. Make sure you always put your numbers in the right order based on the number line. So x less than 19, open circle to the left, x greater than 23, open circle to the right. So R form is when those two are going to opposite directions, and AND form is when we have the solutions between the two numbers. So this is the general idea with AND and R form. Let's go ahead and answer questions now. So, example number 1. Sketch a graph of the inequality when we have x less than 8 or x greater than 15. So that will be the first one. Again, number 8 is first, then we have 15. X less than 8 will go in this direction, and x greater than 15 will go in this direction. So we just sketched the first graph. We're done. Second graph, x is between -4 and 2. At -4 we have open circle, x is greater going in this direction. At 2 we have another open circle when x is less than, going in this direction. So as an example of AND form, all the solutions will be between those two numbers. And we're done. Number 2. Solve the inequality and then graph the solution. So look at this. We have two separate inequalities. R means we need to separate those when we do the calculations. And let's solve each inequality independently. So 2x plus 3 less than 9, we subtract 3 from both sides. This 2 cancel. 2x less than 6. Final step will be to divide by 2. So x is less than 3. That will be the first solution. R, now we're going to solve this one. 3x minus 6 greater than 12. Just like when we're solving equations, we're going to plus 6 to each side. 3x greater than 18, we'll divide by 3. So x is greater than 6. That will be my second part of the solution. If I draw a line and I put 3 here and 6 over here, for the first one, x is less than 3, will go in this direction. Second one, x is greater than 6, will go in this direction. With that, my example will be completed. So please pause the video if you need more time to write down everything. Otherwise, I will just keep going. And as a reminder, you have the power of being responsible where you are at the video and how to manipulate with that video. Okay, next example will be number 3 here. Solve the inequality and graph the solution. So again, we have another form of R, and we want to solve those two inequalities separately. So first one, 3h plus 1 less than negative 5, minus 1 on each side. 3h is less than negative 6, divide by 3. So h is less than negative 2 will be the first solution. And then we're going to plus 5 to both sides. 2h greater than 12. We'll divide by 2, so h is greater than 6 is the second solution. And because it says then graph your solutions, so we're going to have a number line, negative 2 first, positive 6 second. At negative 2 we have open circle, h is less than, going in this direction. At 6 we have another open circle, h is greater than, and goes in this direction. With that, my example will be finished. Next one, we have negative 4 less than x plus 3 less than 11. So notice those are two different examples. Let's focus on the first one. When you have two inequality symbols in one example, make sure you draw a line and you're solving the inequality as we know. So our goal is to get x itself in the middle. So the final answer, x will be itself in the middle. How do we get x itself in the middle? Well, if we have plus 3, we want to isolate this number. So we're going to subtract 3 from each side of the 3 columns. Whatever you do in the middle, you do same thing on the right and left side. So let's draw a line and do the calculations. Negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7, less than, those 3 cancel, only x in the middle, less than 11 minus 3 is 8. And this is what we're looking for. So we have AND form, and if I have to graph it, I will put negative 7 and 8. Then x is between, we have two open circles. All the solutions for x will be exactly in the middle. And my graph is concordant, problem solve. Next one, we have this case. So 10 less than equal negative 2y plus 4 lesser equal 24. Alright, so again, we're solving for variable y. First thing we want to move away will be positive 4, our plus 4 number. So we're going to subtract 4 minus 4 from each one of those. And we'll do the calculations. 10 minus 4 is 6, lesser equal, those two cancel. In the middle now we have negative 2y left, lesser equal 24 minus 4 is 20. Okay, well, the variable y still has a number around. It's not itself, so we need to get rid of this number, and it's negative 2 times y, so the opposite will be to divide by negative 2 each one of the numbers. Now, I want to remind you a very important rule. Every time you divide or multiply by a negative number, you have to flip the sign of the inequality. So we need to flip all those signs. 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. This now changes to greater or equal. Negative 2 and negative 2 cancel. Y in the middle. This one changes also to greater or equal. 20 divided by negative 2 is negative 10. So that will be my final solution, and I'm gonna graph it. Okay, so which one, negative 3 or negative 10 goes first? Well, negative 10 is less than negative 3. So at negative 10 we have closed circle, at negative 3 we have closed circle, and all the solutions will be between, in the middle. So that will be my final graph here. Alright, and another example similar to those will be something like this. And we are applying the same steps. The only thing I decide to include it is just to remind you that there is a possibility of application of distributive property. So when we are solving this and we have number times something inside the parentheses, I want to remind you that we need to get rid of the parentheses by applying distributive property. So negative 14 less or equal 2 times b will be 2b, 2 times 8 will be plus 16, less than 6. Once you apply distributive property, next step will be very similar to what we just did up here in this example. So we're gonna minus 16 from both sides first. Negative 14 minus 16 is negative 30, less or equal to b, those two cancel, less than negative 10. Next step, we'll divide by 2. So notice we're dividing by positive number. We don't need to flip the symbols, the inequality symbols. We just need to calculate that. Negative 30 divided by 2 is negative 15, less or equal b, less than negative 5. Once we have all those, I can draw my line. We'll put negative 15 here, negative 5 over here, closed circle at negative 15, open circle at negative 5, and all the solutions for b will be between those two circles. Alright, awesome. Just the last thing that I want to give you as an example, if you have already given graph, then how do we write the inequality going backwards? So look at this. Now, by all the examples, you guys know already that if we have solutions between, this is AND form. So we have AND form here. And first number will be negative 2, then we have 3, and let's call those solutions x in the middle. So what do we have? We have open circle, which means x is a little bit more than negative 2. And then we have closed circle, so this will be again lesser equal. So now x is a little bit below or equal to number 3. And that will be the actual inequality solution based on this graph. Second graph is what we call R form. So we will have two solutions. First one will be, if we use x again, will be x is, now look at this, less than, it going this direction, so it's less than 0, just less symbol, open circle, or you can say x will be now greater than, because it goes in this direction, greater or equal, closed circle, equal than number 2. And that will be the solution for the second graph. And the last graph is another AND form. The solution is between those two numbers. So I'm going to start with negative 5 and 2. I will put my x in the middle. And for sure we have equal signs because the closed circle, and just less x's between those two numbers. And that will be my final answer. So this is it. We kind of cover pretty good examples here. I'm pretty sure you will be doing just fine with the worksheet. But again, let me know if you have questions and I will help you. Make sure also you take some breaks and you apply this math chat on Schoology and just share your comments, suggestions, or what it bothers you with the examples if it's something. All right, well, have a good day and we'll talk in class.